Welcome to another episode of Behind Success. This is episode 2. This is like one of my favorite shows on Network Cincinnati. This is something that, we came up with, and it's something that I really taken pride in. Shout out to Trey Graham and the crew at 6 in the morning. That was our last episode that we just completed. So today we got episode 2. Just to let you know that the show is being sponsored by Network in Cincinnati, Gumbo Medical, SNS B&B Management, and then huge shout out to Cincinnati's Flea. He just released his album, The Algorithm. So that's out on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you get your music from, that'll be on there. But today's episode is a very special episode to me. We got a very, very special guest, someone that I have known from afar for a while, and I've had the chance to recently, get to meet her in person. It's funny because when I first seen her, and I told her a little bit about the show, it was all love, and right from the beginning, she didn't hesitate. She said, "Of course, let me know," and I really appreciate that. This lady here is a phenomenal woman. Let me just give you the rundown on her. So, first and foremost, she owns one of the biggest boutiques in the city of Cincinnati. This goes by Define Boutique. She's the owner of Define Beauty Bar. She's a co-owner of Luxe Beauty Suites. She runs a woman empowerment and a coaching company titled Define Way Coaching. She's also a vending machine owner and operator. I was telling my peoples about her, and I was telling her, like, if having motion was a crime, they would give her the electric chair. So, she definitely has a lot going on, and it's somebody who I've admired from afar for a long time. So, just to give a slight introduction, I want you to welcome the one and only Mymy Jones. Round of applause for her.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yes.
like, we really do appreciate you coming on here because this is a growing platform, and the people that I aim to have on here is definitely people like your caliber, people I've seen afar, and that I've really wanted to have the pleasure of really just getting down, get to know. And then also another thing about like you and other guests that I have on here is I give you guys the chance to really not only just tell a little bit about yourself that people may not know, but also, kind of teach and, be a mentor, because a lot of people, they have like aspirations of, becoming something or starting their own business, but they just don't have nobody that they can look to for that inspiration. So I try to have people on the show that not only have, been through, where they're trying to get, but, can also, shed some light on how to get there. So I definitely appreciate that. That's the whole purpose of the show, is to bring people on, that I feel that, fits the bill. And, words can't explain how much we appreciate you coming on here.
Yes, I appreciate y'all for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to kind of get into one thing I noticed about. First of all, let's give a cheers for you coming on here. I just want to get that. So cheers to you. So one thing about like your companies and the businesses that you operate, I hear the word like defined a lot, and can you kind of elaborate what does that mean to you, and how did that come about to, pretty much name so many of your entities after defined?
Yes. So I actually started off as doing lashes, and my brand name was Mymy Mix. And then I got my own salon, and I named it Mymy's Lash Bar. And something that I learned during my journey is that, like, with expansion, it made me realize that I've kind of made a mistake with my name. I felt like when I got my salon and I wanted people to work there, I felt it was weird it being called Mymy Lash Party, because it wasn't just
all about you,
all about me.
Right.
So, but like it was already on the building. I couldn't change it. So something that I learned, like I said, during that journey was that I didn't really write out a business plan. I kind of just did things like
went with it.
just
Right,
went with it. Like it was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm about to do lashes, and then when this opportunity presented itself, I just did it. I didn't really think about write anything out. Like I just acted on impulse with a lot of things. So I always said to myself, when the time presents itself that I can, when I move to the next level or I expand my journey, I needed to change, figure out a new name.
Right,
but like, I'm not good with stuff like that. Even when I coach people and they be like, I don't know what name, that's the worst for me. Mm-hmm. But during my journey, when I was like learning where I made mistakes and researching, like Define kept popping up, because like, Define, it really has a meaning of like outlining, being specific, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I didn't do that.
Okay.
So when I was researching and really trying to figure out where I went wrong or how to, create business plans and learning all of those things, I kept seeing that word.
Right.
And it was sticking out to me. And I was like, when I start my next business, I'm call it Define, because like that just kept popping out to me a lot during my researching. And then when the pandemic caused me to shut down, and
my last part.
Yes.
Okay.
So, all salons had closed.
Right. The state made y'all.
Yes, the state made us close. But then when they let us reopen, I went back there. But then I was in a different part of my life, so I was ready to change lanes. And I found a new location, and that's where I named it Define.
Define.
Yep, it was Define Boutique and Define Boutique and Beauty Bar. That's what it was called originally.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. I've been doing my research, on you for a while now, and one thing that I read about and kind of heard you explaining a lot was when because you came in obviously as a lash tech. Mm-hmm. So when COVID happened and everything was shut down around that time, how did we pivot from, lashes to clothing? Because that's like when I really, really heard, like, I started like really hearing you boom. Like,
yes.
I mean, it just kind of took off. So how did that kind of come about for us, like with that expansion?
So that came about. So I was actually doing lashes for 4 years. Oh, wow. And during my 4th year, I started feeling like I started getting bored with it. So the thing I loved about lashing was the companionship with the clients. Right. Like, I didn't care. I started not to care for lashing, even though like I felt like it was my piece. Right. Because I really enjoyed it. Felt like therapy a little bit. Like talking to my clients, they looked forward to seeing me. Like that is still something that I miss to this day. But when I started getting bored, I took a week off from lashing. Okay. And during that week, like, I'm not a person who sits still. So sitting in the house, I'm like, yes, I got to figure something else out. Like, and my mind started thinking, and I'm like, I wonder how it would be. Like, I don't even know how this thought came about, selling clothes. Started researching it, and I was just selling a little bit here and there.
Right.
I did that for a little while, but like I said, it was just a little bit here and there. So when the pandemic came and we shut down, now I'm out of a job, right, and my salon, it was gone. Like, wow. They literally just, one day, it was over. Wow. And, some people was doing it out their house, but I just couldn't really see. Yeah. Like, even though I look at my clients as my friends, like, my house is
your personal
space. My space. Like, I couldn't see that. So I had to figure something out.
Right. So
I'm like, I'm about to sell clothes. Like, this is where I had the opportunity. And then, they was giving out all that free money. Yeah. So right. It was like perfect. And then, people don't sit still. They was doing all these house parties, and right, it was places to go. People needed to go somewhere, and the stores wasn't open. So I ordered mass inventory, and like I was just, my friend, she had a nail salon that I actually worked in before I got my own salon on Coleraine. Okay. So I would just order the inventory, go sit in the parking lot, post what I got, people would pull up. So it just started growing. So I ended up having to like rent a pickup truck so that I can have the back of the pickup truck to hold all the clothes, because the need was more than what I had at first. Dang. And my friends, two of my friends, they used to come and sit with me. And they used to sit with me or whatever. And then they like, shit, we about to do this too, because they seen
how much yours
was like
growing.
So we all started doing it together. And that's really how it came about. I had a pickup truck and I had clothes, and then I started going to 3 different locations. So like I would be on Coleraine one day, and then I would go on Hopple. Wow. I would be on Coleraine on Monday, I would go on Hopple on Wednesday, and then I would go downtown in Parktown on Friday. And then I just did that every week. And everybody had that money and they had places to go, and it was just, at that point it was like, lashes who?
Well, hold that thought, because we gonna get back into that, because that's crazy how everything just works out like that, from the shop shutting down to all of a sudden, boom, you come in with the idea, and then everything's starting to take off. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll kind of dive into a little bit more than that, and then with some other questions, okay? All right,
Sideways. Lemonade. Listening to slow jams, me, I built a program. Controversy, punchlines, kingpin, drug ties, IQ above average. Read books, mathematics, hiking with the backpackers. Treat my queen like Cleopatra's.
Famous lamb chop Alfredo. Listen, man. Chef Nim Kitchen, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday, each and every week. Fish fry Friday, breakfast on Saturday, featuring no pork in them. You already know what's going on, man. You know we got straight fire. It's serious, man. Don't forget that lemonade, man. 3305 Rear Road. Tap in.
welcome back to Behind Success. I'm here with Mama Jones. Once again, shout out to the sponsors: Network in Cincinnati, Gumbo Medical, SNS B&B Management. Get the Algorithm Cincinnati Fleet album. That's my brother, and he delivered a masterpiece on here. When you listen to the songs and go through the album, I really dove into it when I was riding. I'm definitely feeling it. He put a lot into the album. Definitely go check that out. All streaming platforms. But yeah, we're here with Mama Jones. One of the biggest boutique owners in the city of Cincinnati, and we were kind of explaining, well, she was kind of explaining, as far as like how she pivoted from, she started from, Mama Lash Bar and doing lashes, and then from there she kind of pivoted into, selling, clothes. And when she started that, it just really right from the beginning, just started to just, was it any like downtime where, when somebody starts selling something, it'd be like, I gotta get my licks up. Yeah. Was it any downtime?
It really just took off because, like I said, it was during COVID. Nothing was open.
Okay.
No, we didn't have the malls.
Right.
Nothing was open.
So it was a need.
So it was the need. It was
Right.
the need. And, my target audience at the time was tired of sitting in the house. You know how we is. They
Right.
shut everything down. They was going to all the Airbnb parties.
Right.
They needed outfits. And then, again, all the free money that was out there at that time. Like,
had money
it was
to spend.
literally.
Right.
Like,
Do you think that, like, your reputation that you have built up from doing lashes kind of, preceded the transition to clothing, to where you already had like so much traction going on, or you already knew who that target audience was? You think that helped out, or?
I'm sure it did. One thing about me is I've always also been, a friendly, a girl's girl type of person. And one thing about me is like everything that I do is for women. So,
Right.
I just have a good natural attraction to them. So I believe that did help. But from even in I feel like it did, but too, my lash clientele really wasn't even my boutique target audience, honestly.
Oh, okay.
So like my lash clientele were older women.
Got you. Right.
Like at first it was younger
Right.
girls, but
The older women had the money.
it ain't even that. The look that the younger girls wanted wasn't in lashing. It's like it's a way to do lashes healthy, and then it's a way to just
Right. Yeah,
do
I
it for a
know
look. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And the way I was trained, like I wanted to do it healthy. I didn't want to just put this on you because this is what you wanted.
Right.
So I couldn't really satisfy my target audience, I would say, or my age range. So I went for a more natural, people who wanted the natural look, you know, so my clientele ended up changing to all older women.
Got you.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're talking about. 'Cause
So
I know,
it was really two different target audiences.
Oh.
But still, it's like my following on my social media was,
played a part.
yes,
Yeah.
because that is my age group.
Right.
But my lash clients were older.
Gotcha. And you know one thing that I like about what you did when you started from like transitioning from lashes to selling clothes is because you know you stopped trading time for money at that point, because you know no matter how great you was doing lashes, you have to do them lashes, so you know it's only so much money you can make
It is.
a day doing that. So when you transition to like owning like a boutique or especially selling clothes online, you know, somebody can place an order while you sleep.
Well, yes.
So then, you know, whenever you get to the point to where you can, you know, separate time from money, you have the ability to always make more. So
Yes.
that was a really, you know, great strategy for you to kind of pivot from
Yes, for
having
sure.
that physically be there to, you know, now doing what you're doing now.
And that was when I said I had got tired of
Tired.
basically being behind a chair. I did also start training people. Like I started teaching. I trained over 150 girls how to do lashes during my 4 years. So that helped a lot as well.
Hold on. She said 150. Hold on. She said 150.
No, like I did group classes. I did even I did group one-on-ones. I even in esthetician school, the school allowed me to hold a lash class at the school for
Wow.
everybody in the school who wanted to learn how to do lashes.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Because it's a couple of females I done talked to previously that they give you a lot of credit for. I was like, yeah, she taught me and everything. So you know what? That's one thing that I really admire about you so much is because you've helped so many people. Like you really need to understand, like even with your empowerment coaching, you know, it's just like you ain't one of them people that, you know, get some money and try to gatekeep and just be like, nah, I don't want you to get no money. Like I'm trying to really be over you and, you know, let you know I'm over you.
No.
One thing about you is like you've always been open to uplifting other people. I mean, that's an amazing trait to have, you know, because there's so many people that can get in your position and then they don't want to lift anyone up. They just want to kind of, you know, gatekeep, you know, that situation.
Act like
so
they're in charge.
right. Yeah. So I really, really love that about you. That's what makes you, you know, honestly, that's what makes you successful long term. Because like the other way that you can do it, yeah, you may be successful for a while, but when you're talking about long term, and people really loving you genuinely, the way that you go about things will forever be appreciated, and so that I really love that. And like even when I asked you, you know, to do the interview, like it was just like it wasn't even nothing to think about. It was just like, yeah, set it up. You know, and I really admire you for that. So, you know, shout out to Mama for that. You know, she wants to see everybody win, and that's a special trait.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's because, like I said, I know people that be like, yeah, she taught me this and she taught me that, and yeah, so yeah, for sure. So let's get a little bit before even like the last part, like. What made you want to become an entrepreneur? Like what went into that where it's like, you know what, I can't do this.
Having a kid. When I had my son. So my son, he'll be 10 this year.
Okay.
So
10.
before I had a kid, it was like my dreams was actually to be in the dental field.
Okay.
Like I went to school to be a dental assistant. I went to school to be a dental assistant. I worked as a nurse aide.
Right.
I did lots of different things. I never really seen myself. Being an entrepreneur was never in my dreams, honestly.
Right.
But my mom had got sick when she had a stroke and an aneurysm rupture when I was like 6 months pregnant. And I like just left my job because I had to be there for my mom. And then, but I'm pregnant. I needed, money. So I was working at Kroger Pharmacy, and I had my son, and I feel like I used to work like 9 to 6, and I just feel like I never had time. Like my whole day was spent at work, and my mom lived with me, so I had my mom that I was taking care of and my son, and I just felt like it wasn't working. So I'm like, something got to give. And I remember like lash extensions it was a new thing.
Right.
And I was getting, I had, I thought I turned this on silent, sorry. I was getting
it was like a wave.
Yeah, it was a wave. So I used to get my lashes done, and my lash tech, we was pregnant at the same time. And I, just venting to her about my mom, my son, not having time. So she like, why don't you do lashes? But like, I was like, everybody who I told I was gonna do lashes literally laughed because I wasn't that person that could do no hair, no lashes. Like, I just paid for everything.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, maybe I could. She like, I make this much, So I started doing all this research. I took a class in Atlanta and found a shop to work in. Like, I had everything, kind of planned out at first. And I just quit my job one day, took the lash class, and then.
Damn, so you just quit your job before it even popped off?
I literally quit my job. It was February 19th, 2016. Yeah, my son was like 6 months.
Wow.
Yep. And then I took the lash class on the 21st.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
Right.
And then I was paying blueprint at a shop with no clients.
Wow. Okay.
And then I went to esthetician school. After doing lashes for like 6 months, I went to esthetician school, and then January 2017, it wasn't even a year later, I had got my own shop.
Wow. Yeah. So one thing that I'm noticing about you is, it seems like everything just taking off, and it's just like instant success. So when we come back, we're gonna talk about like the hardships and obstacles that you had to overcome, especially because I think one thing about you just, and I like that, and I tell people a lot, things don't got to be perfect for you to start. Just start it.
Just start. That's what I do all the time. I have a lot of failed businesses that I started.
Okay, so yeah, we'll dive into like obstacles and things like that. Definitely stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're gonna play a couple bills.
Moving packs, back against the wall.
You know how to rock it. Hey, it's Danny. Hey, motherfucking fresh.
And of course, Cincinnati's Flea.
Yeah. Cincinnati's #1 motherfucking barber.
And Cincinnati's #1 motherfucking rapper.
Man, say that shit. Don't talk about, hey, shout out Network Cincinnati.
Shout out Network Cincinnati. Network Cincinnati.
Network Cincinnati, a reality TV show coming soon.
Thank you. And also, the Network in Cincinnati podcast is out right now. You can check it out. It's called Maps, Music, Artists, Producers with me and Magnif. Be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, right now, what we're doing, our main goal is to be a part of this movement to, bring the city together. You know what I'm talking about? Entrepreneurs, entertainers,
business owners.
Business owners.
Anything you got going on.
Yeah. It's
Get that Denny Fresh. There's the man.
Hey. So they say. You know what I'm talking about? But it's always my pleasure, to get you together.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Behind Success. We in segment 3. Once again, I want to let you know, go check out the algorithm. We pushing that hard. Cincinnati Flea, he also hosts the show Maps with Magnif. musicians, artists, and producers. Go check that out. They have a guest on there pretty much every week. So yeah, we appreciate Cincinnati's Flea. That's like my brother. So definitely on all streaming platforms right now. Definitely go check out the algorithm, the mixtape. So we talked about how fast like your growth pretty much came. It seems like from the outside looking in that, if I'm hearing your story, it's like, okay, this is easy. Yeah, I understand that you had, that you've always been, kind of like social, and a lot of women always, gravitated towards you. So let's kind of talk about like some setbacks that you had on your journey. What are some setbacks, some failures, things that did not happen the way that you wanted it to? Because, we don't want people to think like this has been easy for you. So kind of dive into that. What setbacks have we had,
So first and foremost, the pandemic.
Okay,
that was definitely
sure.
a big setback. But one thing I didn't do is allow that to set me back, and that's why sometimes I feel like it looks like I handle things so easily. Is because when I do run into hardships and setbacks, I don't sit in them.
Right.
I always figure out a way to move through them and move past it. Right. So definitely the pandemic, and then also when I moved into when I expanded into the Fine Boutique and Beauty Bar, that was a scary change because I expanded and I went from paying $450 rent to $1,500 rent.
Right.
That was super scary for me, and
right.
I don't like change, so that was really scary. But I felt like I needed to expand because of the boutique, and then the space I had was too little.
Right.
So coming there and it was bigger. I had more girls who rented booths there.
Okay.
That part is not easy at all. Having to deal with multiple people, having to
make sure they're paying their rent.
Yes, like that. It's not easy. Okay, it's not easy at all. And just thinking that I had it all figured out, but it took time. Took a couple years. It took time for me to realize that I had to put systems in place, set boundaries, things like that to make it easier than what it was on me, because that was hard. I felt like a high school principal sometimes.
Right. Not a high school principal. So when you say set boundaries, so like a lot of people, they'll feel like, because they may have a good relationship with you, they'll take the personal relationship and try to incorporate it to business.
Yes.
Is that something you have to deal with?
All the time.
Right, yeah.
And so I think it was also my fault a little bit, because I feel like I became friends with everybody who works with me.
Right.
We was hanging out. When you get to hanging out and doing stuff outside, then they feel like, oh, I can be late. I don't got to pay my rent.
Nah.
And then here I go, got to be,
right.
Right. And I'm not that person. So I'm really not that person. So what I had to really actually do is I had to hire somebody to be that person, because people, like, I'm so nice and I'm like, okay, I understand. And then it's like, I'm understanding for 5 people.
Yeah.
And then I'm not making no money, and it ain't even about making them, like, bills needed paid and things like that. So I had to realize I had to hire somebody, and I had to let her, she was like my weaknesses was her strengths.
Yeah.
And that really helped me.
Like being stern.
Yes, she was really stern. She didn't play no games.
Right.
So that helped a lot. It helped a lot. And it showed me how I needed to be, no matter, like, man, you can still be a good person, but that doesn't mean that you have to let these people walk over you.
Exactly.
And I started going to therapy, and therapy actually taught me that. He was like, man, you kind of a people pleaser.
Yeah, round of applause for therapy. I think a lot of people in our community definitely need to start having some type of therapy and just getting a neutral position, opinion, and because a lot of times when you explain your situation to someone that's in your corner, they're gonna tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah, my friends be like, "You ain't wrong." You
Right.
know, you know how your friends be.
Right.
So therapy definitely. I mean, it helped me so much.
Right,
it really
right.
did.
Okay.
It helped me with boundaries.
Gotcha. So, the pandemic was a major setback, and then also, having to separate friendships from business, especially when you're trying to get started. You got a lot on your plate. You're paying a higher amount a month for rent, and it's a lot of pretty much sink or swim going on right now in your life at this point.
Literally. And two, another thing is that being a business owner, it ain't a 9 to 5. It's like, it's 24 hours. And then having a kid and trying to manage, still being this great parent and showing up for me, him, my family,
Right.
it's not easy at all. It's not. And also, I tried other, I did the 360 booth.
Photo booth.
Yeah.
That was a fad. I knew that was a fad. I knew that was a fad. I knew that one here to stay.
Yeah. I did that. I also had, before I had the beauty bar, I had did a wax place with my friend, with one of my clients actually.
Okay.
It was called Cincy Body Waxing. So I had met this lady, and she was moving out of town. She was selling her business. So me and my client, we went and seen thing. We took over. She sold everything, and it took. In that moment, I realized, I put all this money into it. It was going, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me, and that's one thing about me. I don't care to. I don't have to look like I'm winning or care what people think.
Right.
That wasn't for me. And, I communicated that with her, this ain't really, because it was at my business, I did booth rent. At this business, it was, they get paid a percent, a 60-40 type of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That wasn't for me.
For sure.
It's too much. Yeah. It requires too much work.
Right. Yeah.
It's too much labor.
I can't be splitting my profits.
Yeah.
Just give me what you want.
It was. Yeah, that's what I'd rather do.
Right.
It was way too much work. You have to do it's just too much.
Yeah.
And I realized this ain't for me. Right. And I just was like,
you know, I walked working for somebody.
Yeah, I felt And so I walked away and I just left her the business or whatever. And that's what's fine with me. And she kept it going. She even opened up a second one. But it's okay to when something don't work for you. I don't care if people say I failed or that's how they look at it. I learned a lesson in there.
Right.
And again, that was me. When I did that, that was an impulsive move that I took, just thinking I'm about to have another business.
But you need that to win.
No,
though.
you do.
You gotta.
Yes.
I hate when people be like, man, it gotta be perfect. Nah, just do it, and you will learn as you go.
Yeah.
And that's why some people never get started.
Yeah.
They stay stagnant because they scared to take that leap.
Yeah.
They think that everything got to be perfect. But one thing that I admire about you is just you'll be like, boom, I'm on it.
Yeah. And I had to try it to know it wasn't for me.
Right.
And then that showed me how to, when I got the Define Boutique and Beauty Bar, it showed me how to run it because not that way. That wasn't for me.
Well, hold that thought. We talked about the failures. When we come back, we're going to go down a list of everything that she really does and how to tap in with everything that she does, and then we'll go from there. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Don't drown in the pool swimming.
How you late to being on stage, man? You gonna be late to your own funeral, man. And quit drinking, man. Just spilling shit. Rick Ross 2.0, man. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it, man. Did you spray your beard on enough?
You smell like fried food, bruh.
Man, it's your boy, Funny Man Graham, man.
OG played it.
Me and my boy OG played it, man. Y'all gonna see a lot of content, a lot of new stuff coming up, man. Shout out to Network in Cincinnati, man. We
Y'all
grinding.
in trouble. I got moonshine by the quarter gallon, 200.
Stop drinking, y'all.
Hold up. My bad. Shout out Network in Cincinnati. When that app come out, moving that shit like a dope house.
This nigga late at doing everything. Like,
Yeah. Go check out. You can hear it in the background. That's that new Cincinnati's Fleet Algorithm album. Also, special shout out to Network in Cincinnati. We are the fastest growing platform in Cincinnati. Just to kind of give a rundown, we got Behind Success. We have I got a sports talk show where we talk sports. We bring in local athletes from different high schools around the city. I'm trying to get tapped into a couple of Bengals players to do interviews with them as well. And then we got Maps hosted by Cincinnati's Flea and McNiff, legendary McNiff, producer here in Cincinnati. We got the No Lies podcast. That's a relationship and dating. That's hosted by me and Cincinnati's Flea. We have Colorful Conversations, hosted by Bally Quinn. But we looking for hosts too. We are looking for hosts. Yeah, the producer said we're looking for hosts. Basically, that's like a music review. We got the kind of like a 106 in Park top 10 countdown for musicians in Cincinnati. Every day we're gonna be playing the videos, the wrap up. So yeah, we got a lot going on. We got a reality show with Danny Fresh, a real famous Danny Fresh, one of the number one barber in Cincinnati, honestly. Funny Man Graham, OG played it, the comedy special. That's going on. So yeah, we got a lot going on, with the network. And then one thing about us here is the only reason we exist is to shed light on everyone that's doing their thing. So anybody that's doing their thing, you're always free to come on, promote your company. That's why we here. We don't charge. Anytime you want any type of promotion, come on and, be able to handle that. Download the Ruco app. If you got a Ruco TV, just go to search, type in Network Cincinnati. It'll come up right next to Netflix. So, definitely check that out. We are on there. Soon to be on Apple apps. So iOS, that's Apple. But yeah, let's get back to Mymy. We talked about, some hurdles that she went through. So what I want to do is pretty much shed light on pretty much everything that you do have going on. Mm-hmm. So just kind of give me like the rundown on the entire list of, if I was someone that was watching this, I'm like, I like her. I want to support her in every way I can. How can they do that?
Okay. So outside of the boutique, which we talked about a lot, I do have the beauty bar, which is where it all started because that was originally what Mymy Lash Bar was.
Okay.
So the beauty bar was first.
Lash Bar is now the beauty bar.
Yes.
So they do lashes and... Mm-hmm.
Yep. So right now I have 2 locations next door to each other.
Okay.
So I started off with one location. That's where I moved to from Mymy Lash Bar. And then a year later, I expanded to the location next door.
Okay.
So one side was the beauty bar, one side is the boutique. But I ended up turning both into suites. So I have 14 suites in those 2 locations. So
damn, 14. Hold on.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
You want some? I remember one time I was watching this show in Atlanta. It was called like something. He had like 14, but it was like Ramsey or something.
It was
but
like,
it was like that's big. 14 suites in one city. That's crazy.
So I had, when I started off on the beauty bar, it was, the boutique was in the front, and then I had like 5 girls that worked there with me, and then I moved the boutique to the location next door, and I turned the beauty bar into full suites, because it was really like kind of an open floor plan a little bit.
Right.
And then I just remodeled the boutique a year ago, last January, June, and I added 6 suites in there. So I have 8 at the beauty bar and 6 in the boutique, and then the boutique is there also. So that's the boutique and beauty bar. And then in 2022, I started a Defined Way coaching. And I just started that because I wanted to help, like you were saying, people don't have people to help them, or they just have this vision of things they want to do, don't know where to start. And I wanted to help people. People came to me all the time asking for help. Right. And sometimes it was hard to help everybody individually. So I started the Defined Way, and I had a seminar where I kind of just taught people how to start a business. It was how to start, run, and maintain your business. Right. And answered questions where I just helped women. And I did that. I did 2 seminars in a year, and then I was doing coaching sessions. And I did actually do coaching sessions for 2 years, and I had cut back. I stopped promoting it because I started going through a little bit of depression, and I felt like I didn't have boundaries. And where coaching was turning more to therapy with some people,
right.
It wasn't just about business. It was like they was just dropping all their problems on me,
right.
And it was a lot. And I felt like because of the type of person I am and that I want to help everybody,
right.
It was putting me down.
Yeah.
And I realized that, and I was like, I gotta stop for a minute because I couldn't pour into nobody if I wasn't where I needed to be. So I actually haven't really promoted my coaching in about a year because I was really on edge if I wanted to continue it because, like I said, it really had me to where I never even thought I would be that person that experienced depression because I was, but I was there.
Do you think that the coaching led to the depression?
Not just that. It was, just a relationship that I was in. It was all the things that I had on my plate. And then on top of the coaching.
Right.
And then it was like I didn't have boundaries in that business.
Right.
People would just
they'll come to your coaching, and then next thing you know, they think it's for life.
Yeah, they think it's for life.
After the class over with,
they texting me, they writing me. It's just they calling when they reach an obstacle. It's like, how do I fix it?
Yeah.
It was like I didn't have boundaries.
Man, that's a lot.
Yeah, I didn't have boundaries.
Right.
But my therapist taught me, you don't have to stop. You just have to create boundaries. And he challenged me to keep it going with boundaries to see if I can uphold that.
Right.
And I did start back, but then it started feeling like therapy again. And I was like, you know what? Right. I shut the website down.
Right.
And but I did put it back up because it was like, why as soon as I shut it down, people kept, hey, I was trying to book.
Right.
I'm like,
now
okay.
you're missing out on money.
Yeah. And it wasn't even about the money. I do really like helping people. I really like helping people. I like seeing people reach their success. I like seeing the girls drop their businesses. And, I just really love that. And I want to, when they come to me for help, I want to be able to help them. Right. So I did bring it back up. So that, and then also in 2022, I started the vending machine business, which is actually my son's business.
Okay.
So I used to...
It's creating that generational wealth. Okay, yes. I see you.
So me and my son's dad, we used to put money in his bank account for him monthly. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, it was just that amount. It was just literally $100 a month.
Right.
But I'm like, this could be more.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what's in there right now? I'm finna use it and buy him a vending machine. So I bought him a vending machine and I put it in my sweets. And then my friend, she has sweets. She put one in mine. So I used the rest of the money, put one there. And then I ended up, when I opened my other sweet location, I moved his vending machine to my other location.
Okay.
Because I have a lot of traffic there. Right. So it just made sense. So I got his 2 vending machines there. And then I went to China a year and a half ago. And I seen all these hair products. And it made me realize how I have all these hairdressers and stuff. Mm-hmm. And my... in the suite. So I'm like, if I put a vending machine in there with hair products, I can have a hair store because I was seeing all these products in China. But I'm like, if I have a hair store, I need somebody to work it. But if I do the vending machine, I don't need no employee.
Don't need anybody working.
So I got a beauty vending machine.
That's dope.
That's crazy. I got the beauty vending machine. So that's mine. And then my son has 2 vending machines. I actually just got him a 3rd one because I did a year ago. I opened up Lux Beauty Suites with my friend Ashley Amber and her sister Jessica. We just had our year anniversary there. So my landlord, he had told me about this location he had. I went and looked at it, and it was it's 12 rooms there. Man. So I kind of just broke down to them this is all we got to do. We can turn it into this. And we got the keys January 20th, and then...
This year?
Last year.
Okay,
January 20th, 24. Okay. And then March 16th, we had our grand opening. We was fully all, it was 8 suites. We did 8 suites, and then we had rented out a room where people can teach classes or whatever. And then we ended up turning that room into 2 more suites.
Right.
So now it's 10 suites there.
Damn.
And it stayed fully.
So, a Lux Beauty Bar.
Mm-hmm.
If I walk in there not knowing what I just drove past and I saw the sign, what can I expect? What's going on in there?
So at Lux Beauty Suites, we have lash techs, hairdressers, braiders, nail techs. We actually just had somebody. It's really quiet at Lux. So all of my places, all 3, they all got a different vibe. So Lux is quiet.
Okay.
When you walk in Lux, you can't even tell if
Anybody
there. It's super quiet. So we also had a girl there who had an office space there. That's how quiet it was.
Okay.
Yep. So she rented one of the suites for office
Just to do
space.
work.
Yep. So it was her. She had an agency, a home care agency. That was her office.
Oh, wow.
And then the boutique is mellow. Like, it's high traffic, but it's music playing, but it's not loud.
Okay.
The beauty bar, the girls at the beauty bar, those my girls. They stick together. They a family. Yeah. It ain't. It's not. I'm not gonna say ratchet, but it's like a family over there.
Yeah.
When you go in there,
They comfortable.
Everybody work with their door open. They share everything.
Yeah.
They talk to each other. They like a family over there.
Yeah.
You go over there, they got the table set up where they done having a taco party today.
Yeah.
You know, they a family.
Right.
It's a family. It ain't quiet. Everybody, but it works for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? It works for them.
So at this point, you just pretty much like the coach, where you just kind of like, I mean, do you still like get your hands dirty on anything or?
So I will say this: in 2024 was probably my roughest year of business.
Okay.
It kind of, when the economy just started changing, it got slow a little bit.
Right.
My boutique has always done great numbers. It had kind of got slow. And honestly, that's where my concept came to change it to suites.
Okay.
To add them 6 suites in there. Because I'm like, before I give up, what can I do to change it? And then I got this thought. I had a whole vision. I'm like, y'all, I'm finna do this. Everybody like, I can't see it. Watch. I had the contractor come in. I drew out what I wanted it to look like.
Right.
Nobody could see it.
Right.
And then when I did it, everybody like, this crazy. Like, I never. But because I felt before I let my business sink, I know it's a way that I can, I can help myself. So I invested my money, put it in suites, and then it helped, brought more traffic,
Right.
So that's something that I do too. All my girls who rent from me, all their customers get 20% off when they come to my boutique because a lot of them come there for a service and then they see my boutique, now they shopping.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, you weren't my customer, you was hers.
Yeah.
So that's my way to give back to them.
Yeah, that's dope.
So yeah, it's, that was a hardship too. Last year, it was hard. Business had got rough.
Just because of the economy.
Yeah, it changed a lot.
Man,
and then
it's been crazy out here.
I also had lost my assistant, and then that's when I got back in. And I'm like, okay, well, so I started back working in a boutique. I actually been working in a boutique since I reopened in the summer.
Okay.
But I just kind of stopped. My mom just got sick again, and I had to move her in with me. So my life has really just changed in the past 2 months.
Right.
So I have somebody actually starting tomorrow to kind of be supervisor for the boutique to help things run again for me. But I actually been working in the boutique for probably about the past 8 months.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, shout out to that. You know what I'm saying? You are able to adapt, when whatever comes your way. Mm-hmm. One thing that I'm hearing from you is you're not the type of person that'd be like, oh, it's, put your head down, whatever the case may be. You really learn how to adapt, and you a hustler. Yeah. I give you that. And
did you hear when Flea said, I do everything?
Yeah.
I really do. I do in the boutique. I will work the store. I'm gonna clean up.
Yeah.
I do whatever. Like I'm not just the boss. I work too.
Can't be a boss unless you're an amazing worker.
Yes.
Remember that. So if you're watching this, understand that you don't. In order to get to being a boss, you got to be just like a company. They're not going elevate you to become this boss unless you was an amazing worker. So that goes that same way in business as well. So
sure.
We'll take a quick break, and then we'll kind of get into the last segment and then we'll be done.
Collar for $1. We outside, we moving out in traffic. I keep a ratchet, but she gon' do you nasty.
Hey, how y'all doing? Damn, I didn't know y'all was coming in. Best barber, Les Criswell here. Just want to invite you guys to come to the Gold Room Tonsorium, one of the nicest barbershops in Cincinnati, if I must say. Shout out to this network in Cincinnati too, one of the coldest production company, I must say. If you ever need a good haircut, come check me out. No pressure, but just know I'm always here for you. Best barber, Les Criswell, signing out. And yeah, location, 7831 Kenwood, right across from the Kenwood Mall, so you can't miss us. God bless you.
Welcome back to Behind Success. I'm chickling at my sponsor and shit. Make sure y'all go tune in and check out the algorithm. I can't drill that in y'all head enough. Cincinnati's Fleet. Really good album. I checked it out myself. I mean, you gotta be on. You gotta think on a certain level when you listen to bro shit, because you know he's very successful, high business acumen. So you know this ain't a YN album. This is a grown man. You know, yeah. So definitely tune into that. I'm here with Mama Jones. This has been a really great interview. Once again, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, one thing at Behind Success, what we're trying to do is will be the place and space where, you know, successful people come on and just share a lot about their journey and, you know, everything that they've been through. And, you know, I appreciate everyone that's been on here so far. This is the second episode. So we had Trey Graham from 6 in the morning. And then, you know, of course, you. So, like I said, words can't express, you know, how much we appreciate you coming on here in my mind, because, you know, not only are you getting to, you know, kind of shed light and, you know, so many people are interested in your story, your journey, and then also, you know, being able to promote what you got going on, but also you helping, you know, the platform as well. So, you know, I definitely appreciate that. So so this is one thing I was thinking about. Where did this come from? Because like, one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of women, like when they shop with you, they'll like post it on a page and share like clothes by my Jones. It's almost like it's the it thing to do. How did that start? Like, because I see that all the time. Like I see so many women, they'll shop with you and then take a picture with what they bought from you, and then they'll tag you. It's down there like, you know, like they buying their shit from some designer shit, like clothes by Mama Jones. How did that start? Like, where'd that come from?
Well, I think a lot of it is because I do repost everybody. Like, okay. I repost, and I feel like it's just, you know, they just helping. It's a supported thing. Like, okay, you know, if somebody say where you got that from, they're already letting you know where it is. Okay. And I really appreciate all my customers who do that for me. And every time, sometimes when I'm closed, I do try to take a break from social media. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people don't know, but my staff actually runs my Facebook. I get on there and sometimes do my little more motivational posts. But other than that, my staff run my Facebook. So sometimes I don't catch everybody's posts, but when I do, I always repost all my customers, you know, on my Instagram, on my Facebook, on my business page, you know. So I definitely appreciate all my customers from doing that, for shouting me out. And I feel like that's why, you know, that's where it's like word of mouth, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I get a lot of customers from that. I really appreciate that. Like, I really appreciate it. And I try to, you know, a lot of my customers, they get loyalty cards. I give them free wine. I just try to give back and try to give the best customer service. And like I had said on the last segment, that's why I'm finna bring somebody else in, because I feel like with what I'm going through with my mom, I haven't been there as much as I should. Right. And I feel like, you know, sometimes when you're not there, your staff, I feel like the customer service ain't where I want it to be right now.
What's your expectations?
I have to put my mom first right now.
Right,
So
yeah,
I have
sure.
this girl coming tomorrow, and well, not even this girl. It's my old assistant, but she can run a store like me with her eyes closed. And because my number one thing is the money is still there, but I want to make sure that the customer service stay top tier. That's one thing that I admire.
Customer service.
Yes.
That's essential for success in any business.
It is.
I think a lot of us skip that step.
Mm-hmm.
And, I like that that's your foundation. So,
Yeah.
Shout out to that as well. And I also think that that's dope that you are, at a point to where you're willing to put family first.
Mm-hmm.
Family is very important.
Yes.
Everything lines up when I think about you, or like when it comes to you, all your ducks are in a row. Your principles, your morals, what you believe in. I think that you are an amazing woman.
Thank you.
I think that you are a hustler for sure. So yeah, that's really dope that you not only give so many people opportunities, but you also you keep the main thing. So yeah, absolutely. I read a lot about you before you came into the show. I know that you was in Cincy Black magazine, so I did my research on that a little bit. And what's the future look like for you, like moving forward? Like what's your end goal? Where do you see yourself? Where can you see yourself, like where you can kick your feet up and be like, okay, I'm good where I'm at?
When I get a team that I feel I can let fully run the boutique. I don't see myself really letting the boutique go. Like that's my baby. That's like outside of everything, that's really like I really enjoy it, and that's why I don't mind going back and working in the boutique at all. I love interacting with the customers. I love just like when they come in there and they be geek when they get their outfit and they looking good when they tag me, like that just really make my day. I don't really ever see myself letting the boutique go.
Right.
Like I just don't. That's my baby. I am working on a new business though, and it's kind of it's different. It's a different lane for me.
Okay.
And I had said earlier I don't like change, but I feel like I'm ready to do something a little different. And I do right now. I have 4 girls that work in the shop, and they are really good. It's just, I think for me it's just having that supervision that I can't give to make sure everything is top tier.
Right.
So that's why I'm bringing her back, and we're gonna get it back up there. But my next business is, and I haven't even announced this at all yet.
You don't gotta announce it now. You can keep it on the
so
hush.
it's another Define.
Okay.
So I laughed when you said that earlier, but yeah, that's. I
Don't
feel
tell
like
me
this.
define restaurant.
No. But I'm really excited for it. Like I'm waiting this Friday. I'm actually doing my last application for my last approval.
Okay.
And I feel like this is gonna be another good one for me.
Game changer.
Like it is.
Okay. So
It
stay
is.
tuned to that. When you hear
Yeah.
Define, something going on.
Yeah. I got a lot. I've been working on it since I actually started the LLC in 2022.
Okay.
Because it was something I just heavily, and then last September is when I started everything though, and and I just been getting everything together, and
So yeah, definitely stay tuned for when you hear Define and something new going on. Just know it's the new endeavor and adventure from Mymy. So let's talk about like
seriously.
Let's talk about before we kind of wrap up, a little bit personal. How has with everything that you have going on and everything, how successful you've been, and how much you put into your businesses and to yourself, how has that looked like far as like dating life? I'm not sure like if you're in a situation or whatever the case may be, because one thing about like a lot of men, they use like where they got going on as leverage. So how has that been as far as like with you, knowing the simple fact that you so much of a hustler that you don't really depend on necessarily a man to, you know, take care of you, whatever the case may be. Has that altered or has been complicated with, you know, with you being able to find happiness?
I feel like it has, honestly, because like sometimes I feel like it's intimidation a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of intimidation, and it causes a lot of problems. So right now I'm just, you know, I'm just focusing on me and my kid, my businesses, my mom right now.
Yeah.
You know, I got a lot
on your plate.
Yeah.
To focus on.
Yeah.
You know, so if you trying to, you know, definitely mess with mama, you better come correct.
Not gonna happen. It's not.
Right.
Yeah. It's over.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes in life you have periods of times where you're open for that, and then there's periods of times where it's like, okay, some people can't do that. They can't separate. You know, to where they always open. And they never be able to grow, or sometimes you gotta put your head down and just be like, okay, this is what it is. I'm cool on that, and I gotta get what I got shit I gotta do.
Yeah,
and then you can open yourself back up for dating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, before we leave from out of here, go ahead and just shout out where, you know, everyone can follow you. That's watch the show and they're interested in connecting with you. Shout out your social medias.
So you can find me on Facebook at Mymy Jones, or Define Boutique, Define Beauty Bar. Those are all my Facebook pages, Lux Beauty Suites. On Instagram, it's sincerely__Maya. I also have at Define BTQ and at Define Beauty Bar.
Okay, so make sure y'all go check her out. This is a special woman. It's been an honor to be able to speak with her. This is the second episode of Behind Success. You know, without, you know, you, this is not possible. So I can't express how much I really appreciate that. It's been all love. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you want to, you know, connect with Mama, you know, she's gave y'all her social media tags. Define Boutique. Everyone goes there. You've heard about it. Like, this is not new. Like, you know who this is. I'm perping for real. Like, I'm trying to introduce, like I'm trying to introduce y'all to her. So, yeah, it's been a pleasure to have you here. Until next time, you know, we've had a wonderful. I love this episode. Stay tuned. This episode of Behind Success was sponsored by Network Cincinnati, Network Cincy, Gumbo Medical, SNS B&B Management. Go check out Cincinnati's Flea, the Algorithm mixtape, and then also stay tuned to our other shows. You know, we got the No Lies podcast. We actually about to go shoot another episode of that this week. Sports Talk with me, Carson, and my co-host Reese Robinson. Maps, hosted by Cincinnati's Flea McNiff, Colorful Conversations. I mean, we got a lot going on. We got the reality show. It's a lot going on. We continue to build. Anybody in Cincinnati that's looking to get whatever they got going on out there, come holler at us. We're going to put it out there. We're going to make it happen for you. This is for everybody. This is our network. So continue to stay tuned. We holler at y'all.
In the hood, I did it in a major way. I got them gadgets, they pull up, I'm whipping magic. We outside, we moving out in traffic. I keep a ratchet, but she gon' do you nasty. I'm from the natty, bitch, fuck your baby daddy. I'm from the natty, bitch, fuck your baby daddy. I'm from the natty, bitch, fuck your baby daddy.